Road to 2000. Chess Mental Training. Walking, Bike Ride and Commute Edition. Introduction. Welcome to Road to 2000 Chess Mental Training. This session is designed for a walk, a bike ride, a commute, or any other time when you want to reinforce your chess thinking away from the board. You do not need a chessboard in front of you. You do not need to solve anything perfectly. Simply listen and allow the ideas to become familiar. If you are walking somewhere safe and want a greater challenge, you can visualize some of the positions and squares I describe. If you are cycling, driving, crossing streets, or otherwise need your attention on your surroundings, skip the visualization exercises entirely. Your safety comes first. The goal today is simple. Reinforce the habits of strong chess. See the board, understand the opponent, find candidates, calculate resistance, check for blunders, make good decisions, one position at a time. You already know how to play strong chess. Improvement does not always require learning something new. Sometimes improvement means consistently applying what you already know. Strong chess is not 20 brilliant moves followed by one catastrophic mistake. Strong chess is a sequence of sound decisions. You do not need to find the engine's first choice on every move. You need to understand the position, recognize danger, find reasonable candidates, calculate accurately when necessary, and avoid preventable mistakes. Your objective is consistency. Your objective is clarity. Your objective is to make the opponent earn every advantage they get. What changed? Imagine that your opponent has just made a move. Before thinking about what you want to do, pause and ask the most important question in this entire session. What changed? Every chess move changes the position. What did their piece attack? What did it stop defending? What does it defend now? Did a file open? Did a diagonal open? Did a square become weak? Did a piece become loose? Did the move create a threat? Did the opponent weaken something while creating that threat? Your plan from one move ago may still be correct, or the opponent's move may have changed everything. Do not play the position that existed 30 seconds ago. Play the position that exists now. What changed? Understand the opponent. Chess is a conversation between two players. Do not play only your half of the conversation. Ask, why did my opponent play that move? What are they trying to accomplish? Perhaps they are attacking something. Perhaps they are improving a piece. Perhaps they are preparing a pawn break. Perhaps they are preventing your idea. Perhaps they have created a tactical threat. And yes, perhaps they simply made a mistake. But understand the move before assuming that. Before asking, what do I want to do? Ask, what does my opponent want to do? Strong chess begins by respecting the other side of the board. Checks, captures, threats. Now activate your tactical radar. Checks, captures, threats. Repeat it mentally. Checks, captures, threats. Look at your opponent's forcing possibilities first. Can they check your king? Can they capture something valuable? Can they create an immediate threat? Then examine your own forcing possibilities. But remember that forcing does not mean good. A check can be pointless. A capture can lose material. A threat can simply be ignored if the opponent has something stronger. Forcing moves deserve attention because they limit responses, but calculation determines whether they actually work. Checks, captures, threats. Loose pieces. Now add another phrase to your mental routine: loose pieces. Look for pieces that are undefended or insufficiently defended. Look for pieces whose defenders are overloaded. Look for pieces aligned with kings and queens. Look for pieces that can be attacked with tempo. Many games are not decided by deep strategic ideas. They are decided because something was simply hanging. Before searching for brilliance, notice what is loose, your pieces and theirs. Tactical patterns. Keep your tactical vocabulary active. Fork, pin, skewer. Discovered attack, discovered check. Double attack, deflection, decoy. Overloaded defender, removing the defender. Interference, backrank weakness. Trap piece, mating net, intermediate move. You do not need to force these patterns into every position. You simply want your mind ready to recognize them when the geometry appears. Patterns make calculation faster because familiar structures become easier to see. Candidate moves. One of the easiest ways to make a bad decision is to fall in love with the first reasonable move you notice. Instead, create candidates. If the position is critical, find alternatives. Is there a check? Is there a capture? Is there a threat? Is there a tactical move? Is there a quiet move that improves your position? Can you improve your worst piece? Can you create a pawn break? Can you remove an important defender? You do not need 5 candidates on every move. Sometimes the correct move is obvious. But when the position deserves thought, compare alternatives before committing. Calculate resistance. Now comes one of the most important ideas for stronger calculation. Do not calculate cooperation. Calculate resistance. Your opponent is trying to defeat your idea. When considering a move, ask, what is their strongest response? Not the response you expect, not the most natural response, not the response that makes your combination work, their strongest response. What would you least like to see after your move? Can they check you? Can they capture something? Can they counterattack? Can they ignore your threat and create a stronger one? Is there an intermediate move? Can they change the move order? Try to refute your own idea. A move becomes trustworthy when you have tried to break it and cannot. The blunder check. Now imagine you have calculated and selected your move. You are ready to play it. Stop. One final check. Imagine your piece already sitting on its destination square. What can the opponent do? Checks, captures, threats. Did the piece you moved leave something undefended? Did you expose a diagonal? Did you open a file? Did you weaken your king? Is the destination square actually safe? Is there a knight fork, a backward bishop move, a rook attacking from across the board, a pawn capture you overlooked? This takes only a few seconds. The purpose is not to second-guess every decision. The purpose is to catch the simple mistake before it becomes permanent. Calculate first, decide, blunder check, move. Your mental algorithm. Let's put everything together. Your opponent moves. Pause. What changed? What are they threatening? What are their checks, captures, and threats? Are there loose pieces? Now consider your candidates. What forcing moves do you have? What improving moves do you have? Choose the candidates worth calculating. Ask what the opponent's strongest response would be. Try to disprove your own idea. Choose your move. Then perform the final blunder check. Checks, captures, threats. Is everything safe? Then move. Again, what changed? What is threatened? Checks, captures, threats, loose pieces, candidates, opponent's best response, blunder check, move. When there is no tactic, Not every position contains a combination. Strong players also need to know what to do when nothing immediate is happening. When there is no tactic, ask what the position needs. Which of your pieces is doing the least? Can you improve your worst piece? Can a knight reach a better square? Can a bishop find a stronger diagonal? Can a rook occupy an open or semi-open file? Can you gain space? Can you prepare a pawn break? Can you restrict an opponent's piece? Can you create a second weakness? If there is a tactic, calculate. If there is no tactic, improve. Piece activity. Your pieces should have jobs. A knight wants useful squares and stable outposts. A bishop wants meaningful diagonals. A rook wants activity, open files, semi-open files, and penetration into the opponent's position. A queen wants coordination without becoming a target. Your king wants safety in the middle game and activity in the end game. Do not evaluate development merely by counting how many pieces have moved from their original squares. Ask what each piece accomplishes. Chess pieces become powerful through coordination. Pawns and permanent decisions. Pieces can usually move backward. Pawns cannot. Treat pawn moves as permanent decisions. Before advancing a pawn, notice which squares it will stop defending, what lines it may open, what weaknesses it may leave, and what space it gains. Pawns can restrict enemy pieces, create passed pawns, open files, attack centers, and provide space. They can also create permanent weaknesses. Respect them. A pawn move should have a reason. King safety. Before attacking your opponent's king, check your own. What lines point toward it? How many defenders surround it? Could a file or diagonal suddenly open? Are queens still on the board? Could the opponent sacrifice material to expose your king? When attacking, bring enough pieces. A queen by herself rarely defeats a properly defended king. Coordinate queen and rook, queen and bishop, queen and knight. Bring another attacker. Create superior force around the target. And always remember, a spectacular attack against the opponent means nothing if your own king gets mated first. Exchanges. Before exchanging pieces, ask who benefits. Does this trade improve my pawn structure? Does it remove their strongest piece? Does it eliminate an important defender? Does it activate one of their rooks? Does it give them a dangerous passed pawn? Does it lead to an endgame that favors me? When you are ahead, exchanging pieces can reduce counterplay, but do not trade automatically. When you are behind, keeping pieces can preserve tactical possibilities, but again, do not obey that blindly. Principles suggest, calculation decides. When you are winning. A winning position is not a one game. When you obtain an advantage, your opponent begins searching for counterplay. Respect it. Ask, what is their only source of activity? Can I remove it? Can I exchange dangerous attackers? Can I improve my king? Can I simplify into an endgame I understand? Can I restrict their pieces before trying to finish them? You do not receive bonus rating points for winning beautifully. A clean conversion is enough. Restrict, improve, reduce counterplay, simplify when appropriate. Finish the game. When you are worse. A worse position is not a lost game. Do not mentally resign because an evaluation has turned against you. Look for activity. Look for tactical resources. Look for threats against the king. Look for passed pawns. Look for perpetual checks. Look for ways to complicate the position. Make your opponent continue finding good moves. You are not pretending the position is equal. You are searching for your best practical chance. One move can change a chess game. Stay present. After a blunder, you will make mistakes. Every human chess player does. What matters is what happens next. If you blunder, the previous position no longer exists. Do not spend the next 5 moves mentally replaying your mistake. Do not punish yourself by moving quickly. Do not decide that the game is over without checking. Reset. Look at the board again. What changed? What does the new position require? What is my best move now? The only move you can control is the next one. Time management. Your clock is part of the position. Spend time where the position deserves time. Do not burn several minutes choosing between harmless opening moves and then rush through a tactical middle game. Slow down when the position changes dramatically. Slow down when kings are exposed. Slow down when multiple captures are possible. Slow down when your opponent surprises you. Slow down when your intuition tells you something tactical is happening. But do not demand perfection from every quiet position. Use your time to solve the moments that matter. Do not play the rating. Now remember this carefully. You are not playing a rating number. You are playing a position. A milestone can become psychologically dangerous when you start thinking about the points instead of the board. Do not force a win because you want a particular number. Do not become timid because you are afraid of losing points. Do not calculate what your rating will become during the game. Your responsibility is not the rating. Your responsibility is the move in front of you. The rating is an outcome. The move is the process. Return to the move. Visualization, walking, or stationary only. If you are currently cycling, driving, crossing streets, or need to pay attention to your surroundings, skip this section and simply listen. If you are walking somewhere safe or sitting still, you can try the following exercise. Imagine a chessboard. Picture white side at the bottom. Visualize the 4 central squares, D4, E4, D5, E5. Now imagine a white knight on E5. Without seeing a board, think about its possible destinations. The knight attacks C4, C6, D3, D7, F3, F7, G4, and G6. Do not worry if you missed one. The purpose is visualization, not testing yourself. Now clear the board again. Imagine a white bishop on C4. Follow its diagonal toward the black king side. D5, E6, F7, G8. Notice F7. Now follow the other forward diagonal. B5, a 6. Imagine the geometry rather than individual pieces. Chess calculation becomes easier when the board can exist in your mind. Now imagine a rook on E1. Imagine an open E-file extending toward E8. Imagine a black king somewhere along that file. Feel how the rook's influence travels in a straight line. Now erase the position. The board is empty again. Mental calculation, walking or stationary only. Again, skip this if you are riding or need environmental awareness. Imagine the beginning of a chess game. White plays E4, black plays E5. White develops the knight to F3. Black develops the knight to C6. White develops the bishop to B5. You have just visualized the beginning of the Roy Lopez. You do not need to analyze it. Simply hold the pieces in your mind for a moment. White pawn F4, black pawn E5, white knight F3, black knight C6, white bishop B5. Then release the position. Visualization is a skill. It improves through repetition. You do not need perfect mental images. Knowing the relationships between squares is enough. The road to 2000. Improvement does not require you to transform overnight into a completely different chess player. You are reinforcing consistency. See before acting. Understand before attacking. Calculate when the position demands calculation. Improve when the position demands improvement. Respect your opponent's resources. Respect your own intuition when it tells you danger may exist. Do not give away games cheaply. Make your opponent earn the point. You will not play perfect chess. Nobody does. The goal is to reduce preventable errors and increase the number of positions in which your real chess understanding gets expressed on the board. Final mental rehearsal. Let's rehearse your sequence again. Your opponent moves. Pause. What changed? What became attacked? What became undefended? What opened? What closed? What is the opponent threatening? Checks, captures, threats, loose pieces. Now find your candidates, forcing moves, tactical moves, improving moves. What deserves calculation? Now ask, what is my opponent's strongest response? Try to refute your move. Calculate resistance. Choose your move. Final blunder check. What checks do they have? What captures? What threats? Is my king safe? Is my queen safe? Is the piece I am moving safe? Did I leave anything behind? Then move. Again. What changed? What is threatened? Checks, captures, threats, loose pieces, candidates, opponent's best response, blunder check, move. Again. What changed? Checks, captures, threats, candidates, calculate, blunder check, move. And once more. What changed? What does my opponent want? What are the forcing moves? What are my candidates? What is their strongest response? Is my move safe? Then move. Finish. When you next sit down to play, you do not need to remember every sentence from this session. Remember the process. See the position. Respect the opponent. Look for danger. Generate candidates. Calculate resistance. Check your move. Then commit. When there is a tactic, calculate. When there is no tactic, improve. When you are winning, reduce counterplay. When you are worse, create problems. When you make a mistake, return to the position. When you think about your rating, return to the position. One position at a time, one decision at a time, one game at a time. Road to 2000.
Keep moving, keep learning, keep playing strong chess.